The 80s were a funny time. Police dramas were gritty, violent, and usually vulgar.
Fuck you, man.
They were made for adults, and not meant to be child-friendly. Even when the concept appears on the surface, a kid's movie. A robot policeman. Kids love cops, kids love robots. At least I did. Robocop was a groundbreaker. On my first few viewings, I just dug the action, the robots, and the comedy. I knew he looked like a guy in a suit, but he made me believe he was part man, part machine, all cop. And the more I watched it, the more I saw underneath. It was an exaggerated commentary on 80s consumerism. It was an essay on class division, police brutality, and corporate indifference. And on top of all this, a Christ metaphor. It spawned sequels, a TV show, video games, even a children's cartoon. Yep, a movie that did this was turned into a cartoon for kids. Until 2014, do you see what was missing from that list? A remake. Normally I try to let remakes stand on their own, but I have some things to get off my chest here. This is Robocop. Holy shit, the Ed 209s look cool here. Omnicorp is the corporation that makes these robots. Omnicorp's CEO Raymond Sellers, played by Michael Keaton, decides to put a man in the machine. Meet Alex Murphy, played by Joel Kinnaman. And we immediately get a flashback. A gunfight goes bad, Lewis is hurt.
Lewis!
Oh god, no, not Lewis! We love Lewis! Who the hell is this guy? So this is Lewis. What do we care? We know nothing about him at this point. Murphy gets too close to Antoine Vallon, a drug dealer, arms dealer, I don't know. He's bad and that's all we need to know. He enlists some crooked cops to take out Murphy with a car bomb. A car bomb? That's it? No blaze of glory? Just boom? Lame? In the original, Murphy's death was an ordeal. It was vicious, prolonged, and sadistic. It was a modern-day crucifixion. Yeah, back to that Christ metaphor. Now we just cut to Murphy, already transformed into Robocop.
That was easy.
Dr. Norton, played by Gary Oldman, is the genius in charge. He's our expert in robotics and is pretty much the man behind Robocop's entire existence. In the original Robocop, I believe they mentioned that he still had some of his body, but they never really said how much man had to be in the machine. Jesus, did they just go with the bare minimum or what? And why bother with the hand? It looks odd when it's just put together and just plain sad when it's just hanging there. One for love, one for hard love. He's also technically still alive, so he still has contact with his wife and child. Another strange choice. This is Maddox, played by Jackie Earle Haley. You might know him as Rorschach from Watchmen and the Freddy Krueger nobody liked. Instead of a drug den warehouse shootout resulting in the capture of Clarence Boddicker and the reaffirmation of Robocop's duties,
yes, I am a cop.
we get a seizure-inducing gunfight in the dark that looks more like a video game. Aim for the red thing! On to the final boss fight, where he takes on several Ed 209s, and it's a pretty intense fight, and he gets wrecked pretty bad. To the roof, to the big boss confrontation. In a repeat of the inability to shoot a company asset, Murphy is still stuck. He has to overcome his programming, which he does. They already foreshadowed his ability to overcome other directives, so why not this? I love how the guard does nothing. Independent contractors at work. Are they really trying to make us think Robocop is about to die? Not even. He's back on the job, back in his shiny silver body. His son gets Robo-Daddy, and I can only imagine Mrs. Murphy is enjoying a mechanically enhanced husband.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
That was Robocop. I can't not talk about the original. The differences just highlight too many flaws. By the time we meet Robocop, we don't get a sense of who Alex Murphy was. Instead of a man trying to regain his humanity, we have a man trying to maintain his humanity. Taking away his family, his identity, even his name isolated Murphy from his humanity. He was reduced to a corporate property. Keeping his family in the picture was an odd choice. His isolation was a huge source of audience sympathy, and now that's gone. In the original, Murphy died legally, physically, and metaphorically. He became a non-person and had to reclaim it.
Nice shooting, son. What's your name?
Murphy.
When he finally takes back his name, you feel he earned it. His transformation was traumatic and painful to watch. In the remake, he's Robocop in a couple of scenes. And his free will was a publicity element to make him street legal.
But the human element will always be present. Fear, instinct, bias, compassion, they will always interfere with the system.
Okay.
To the public, he was still Alex Murphy. But what was their plan exactly? Would he go home at night? In the original, he was bound by directives, but their solution was creative and hilarious.
Dick, you're fired!
Thank you.
What did we get? You can't shoot me.
No, I can't. Oh, wait, yes, I can. Bang.
Valen, the dealer that tries to kill Murphy, is a MacGuffin. He's certainly no Clarence Boddicker. And as much as I love Michael Keaton, Sellers is a businessman. He's a less evil Steve Jobs. Dick Jones was a shark. He was fucking scary. He made executives piss themselves. That one little cutaway told me more about Jones than a page of dialogue. Lewis was such an important character in the original, a tough female character with depth, purpose, a lifeline between Murphy and his old life. A female character that was, surprise, not a romantic or sexual component of our lead. Nancy Allen was one of the best parts of Robocop. At least they kept the iconic Robocop theme for a little bit. I do have to say the effects are awesome. Ed 209 looks more badass, less cuddly than his 80s counterpart. I do miss the snarling though.
You now have 15 seconds to comply.
On the other hand, Robocop himself looks kinda lame. Huge Iron Man influence here. The new Robo is fast, leaps, spins, and moves like a live person, and he's less robotic. The original looked like a guy in a suit, I'll admit that much. But Peter Weller's performance and movement sold the machine. Sure, he moved slow, but he had a mechanical, imposing way of moving. When you saw this guy stomping towards you, it was intimidating. This gave Robocop such an I don't give a fuck attitude. He doesn't hide behind cover. You can't hurt him. He is cover. The black suit just doesn't work for me. Remember how people freaked out about the lack of color in Superman's suit? The exposed human hand doesn't help. Most of the performances are pretty solid. Even Joel Kinnaman, who is kinda dull as Murphy, but as Robocop he does bring lots of internal struggle, and sometimes I could see pain behind his blank Robocop persona. But at times he's still too human. I miss the charming robot mannerisms. The movie lacks the wit and attitude of the original. I miss the fucked up commercials. And no Eddie Van Halen cameo? Come on. The action scenes are kind of a mixed bag. Robocop's first action piece is a computer simulation, then a training demonstration. The warehouse battle is a tad long and looked like one of those pistol arcade games. The original Robocop gets a 4.5 out of 5. A fun, witty, campy action movie that earned its status as a classic. Despite being rooted in 80s consumerism, it still has an almost timeless quality, quotable as well as memorable. On its own, Robocop 2014 is a competently made 2.5 out of 5. A decent movie, if a bit meh, but it really pales when compared to the original. It looks great on screen, but not much else going on. I immediately forgot most of this movie when it was over. If you liked this video, give a thumbs up and subscribe. Or not, no pressure. So which version do you prefer? This is theNewBee, and as always,
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.